What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Too Pop to Handle. I'm your host, Andrew Nucatola, and I am so stoked for this week's episode. We have so much to talk about. It is currently 4:45 when I'm recording this on Tuesday, and I got off of my flight about an hour and a half ago from LA from the People's Choice Awards, so I am hot off the presses. I literally got home, ate, grabbed a coffee, showered, changed, and I was like, let's just do it while everything's fresh in my mind, while I am like hype off of this like West Coast, East Coast time change difference off of my flight. I was like, let's just hop on. So yeah, I flew back this morning. I had a 6 a.m. flight, so a 6 a.m. Pacific time. So I've been up since 3:30 Pacific time, which is what, 6:30? So I guess it's actually not that crazy when you think about it. It sounds crazier, and I wish that I could talk it up and be like, I've been up since 3:30 and I flew home and I landed and now I'm here recording it because I'm so dedicated to my art. But like it's not as crazy as it seems to be. I slept my entire flight. I like slept great last night. Like we're all good. So I'm very excited to be recording. As you guys know, if you follow me anywhere, if you listened to last week's episode, I was at the People's Choice Awards this weekend and I had such a fabulous time. It was such a good weekend. I stayed with my friend Julie for the weekend, who lives in Santa Monica, and she literally lived like 20 minutes from where the venue was for the theater for the award show. So it was like perfect. It just worked out. She was going already, so it just kind of was like meant to be when I got invited, and she was already going. So we had such a fun weekend. It's always so fun to see her. She always stays with us in our apartment when she comes to New York by herself. So it was like when I got there, I was like, oh my God, the tables have turned. I'm on the West Coast staying on your couch. Usually you're on the East Coast staying on my couch. So it was fun to just, flip the script for the weekend. We had a really, really fun time at the People's Choice Awards. I'm gonna just hop right in. Lots of pop culture stuff, lots of music stuff to talk about. I'm very excited to talk about this week's releases, or last week's releases rather, because like I have lots of thoughts. But before that, like I said, we're gonna hop right in to the People's Choice Awards because it was such a fun show. I had a really, really great time. It was I've been to a lot of award shows in New York. Obviously, that's where I'm from. I've been to the VMAs. I've been to so many different award shows, and they've been at like Madison Square Garden, Radio City Music Hall, the Prudential Center in New Jersey, traditional concert venues. This was so interesting. So the People's Choice this year, and I believe last year as well, it was at the Santa Monica private airport, like where people fly in and out on their private planes. So it was literally like, it was not a traditional venue at all. So it was so tiny. It was like this itty bitty little theater. It was the smallest venue I've ever been to an award show at. And the way that they made this room just work for the space, I was so impressed. The people who put that stage together, who made like the layout of the whole, like the way it was set up, kudos to you guys because it was such a tiny space to work with and they fit a lot of people in there. They had a lot going on. There was like people moving around, so many moving parts, and they did such a good job. It was honestly one of the funner award shows I've ever been to. They're always fun, but like, it's for TV. It's always making it bigger for the television, for the camera, doing it there. So they just did a good job at kind of like making it not seem like it was just for TV. Like we all kind of felt engaged. It was very well done. It was so much fun. The performances were great. They had some big people. We'll get into like all the moments and stuff, but I was like, the People's Choice is not the Grammys. The People's Choice is not the Oscars. You know what I mean? You're not seeing like the creme de la creme of celebrity at the People's Choice, but like Billie Eilish was there, Jennifer Aniston was there, Halle Bailey was there, like so many just like people that I was like, oh my God, like it was cool to see them in this space when and again, I mean, the People's Choice is obviously, it's a big award show still, but I mean, it's for the people. It's the people's choice. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily like A-list central. So it was cool that they had some good picks within the crowd as well. And just all the Selling Sunset cast was there. We had some Jersey Shore folk in the audience. Like it was just a good mix of people, some fun celebrities. And I think the best part about going to an award show is watching everybody interact between, like seeing who clings to who and who's up taking photos together. And like, because in the commercial breaks, the celebrities are all walking around their tables and chatting with each other, taking photos. And you can also always kind of tell who's going to win the next award by where they're seated. Like if it's easy access with a camera or something like that, like you can kind of you can piece together once they start to announce it. You're like, oh, they're going to win because they're sitting right by where the podium is. So it's always fun to kind of see the behind the scenes. And that's the stuff that I like. Obviously, I love to see the stars and the performances, and it's always just cool to see who shows up. But the behind the scenes of it all, especially now doing this and being more on the like production side, I guess. I don't know, like filming things, recording things, stuff like that. Obviously, me filming on an iPhone in my living room is much less scale than the People's Choice Awards, but I just have a more of appreciation for it. And now going to these events, I like to see like how they work their cameras, the camera crew, the teleprompters, the lighting. Just it's always fun for me to watch. So it was fun to be there. And yeah, I don't know. I just had a great time. So some of my favorite moments, like I said, Billie Eilish was there, which was so cool. And she was one of the first awards of the night. And she, I believe actually the very first, I want to say. So she was the first one that we saw win an award. And she just so like it's Billie. I mean, we're all seeing the viral video going around of her like shading all the TikTokers there, and I'm pretty sure we know why she said that. There was like an incident on the carpet with a certain creator, allegedly. I don't know if it's true or not, so I'm not gonna. You guys, you can figure it out. I'm not gonna be the one to like put a target on somebody's back, but I understand what she was saying. If you didn't see what she said, at least we can talk about that. She was like, "There's like TikTokers here," and like points to the back where like some of the creators were, and I mean. I think there's like mixed feelings about it. Like TikTokers they're obviously not A-list celebrities. They aren't, even content creators. Like I was there as a content creator, which is essentially kind of the same thing. So whatever. But it like the way that celebrities, like traditional singers, music, whatever, actors, whatever, talk about some content creators and like talk about like as if they're lesser, like we know, you know what I mean? Like everybody we know that TikTokers and Jennifer Aniston are nowhere near the same levels. But at the end of the day, your team is the one rushing to TikTok to push music and to promote it. So like, and you're at the same award show. So it's just like a weird thing. So it's like next time Billy releases music, is it gonna go viral on TikTok, or are they gonna be like, sorry, we're not doing it? She obviously doesn't appreciate it, and she doesn't need to. And this is you guys. I love Billy. You guys know this. Like I've talked about her before. I love her. So I don't. I don't really. Regardless, I'm still a fan. I'm just very curious, like how that's gonna play out. Like it's like making big headlines about her saying it, and a lot of people are agreeing with her, which I guess I can understand. But as somebody who is trying to break more into the space, I guess, and was there, I was invited as a content creator to go because of the podcast. Like I can't be like, oh my god, yeah, I totally agree with her because I was there too. I'm not to the level of the TikTokers that she was talking about. Like I'm not being like she was talking about me, like not me with my like 2,000 followers, but like you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like I get what she was saying, I guess where she's coming from, but it was just like I think it's unfortunate that I got caught on camera, is what I'll say. And like that, I'm going to leave it at that. But again, just cool to see Billy. I love her, and she had another moment later in the show that was one of my favorites. Actually, was my favorite moment of the show she was involved in. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But just going in order, like I said, Jennifer Aniston was there, which I'm a huge Friends fan, so I was just stoked to see her and her to be there. Which she is like almost as A-list gets when it comes to actresses. So I was no, she is as A-list gets. So I was like, oh my god, like that's huge to see her. But then I pieced it together. Adam Sandler was getting honored with an award that night, so she presents it to him. Obviously, they work together so much. Just go with it. They've had a few other movies, and they're just such good friends and continue to have been friends after all the movies. So her announcing him and giving the speech about him beforehand, and then her watching him give his speech, which is it was a cute, wholesome moment. Just like people who appreciate pop culture and things like this, it was a big moment to just like be there and watch it. So that was really cool. And I mean, Adam Sandler, come on, he is like literally the funniest guy. His speech was so funny. If you didn't watch, he did. Instead of saying he was the People's Choice Award, he said, "Oh, I thought I was winning the People's Sexiest Man Alive." So he would give a whole speech as if he wrote it for that. It was just really well done, really funny. I mean, it's Adam Sandler. Come on. Like literally like we all grew up watching him. He has been such like a pillar in comedy and movies, and it's such a cool moment to witness and such a deserved award for him to get. So that was fabulous. And then one of the biggest moments of the night that I would say that definitely I was like, that's like a core memory. As soon as it happened, I turned to Julie and we were like, we're gonna remember that happening forever. Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell came out to announce an award, and in their new movie, they have the moment with Natasha Bedingfield's Unwritten. So Sydney says something like Glenn's doing a whole bit of like, oh my god, I'm nervous. Sydney's like, do you want me to do that thing that calmed you down? Which like the fact that they're still going into like they know that the press tour is over, right? Like they know that they don't have to keep this up, but like I mean, if I looked like Sydney Sweeney or Glenn Powell and that was like my counterpart and I was able to flirt with them, like they are both so stunning and just like beautiful to look at. I didn't know where to look. I was literally like, it was like a ping pong ball, like looking back and forth because the two of them were just so good looking. I was like, how do they, like, how, like, it's not fair. How do they look like that and like get cast together and have this chemistry? I was just like, you guys are making me fucking sick, but I loved it. So they have the moment about Natasha Bedingfield with Unwritten, and then lo and behold, Natasha Bedingfield comes out, which like, can we just discuss? I feel like she is so unappreciated and underrated. She obviously has her hits, but I've seen her in concert two times, I want to say, and I'll admit myself, like I wasn't going to the concert to see her. She just, it was like a festival lineup and she happened to be there. But both times I left and I was like, that was such a good show. She has such a good energy. She's so fun. Even when she came out at the award show, like everybody was so excited. Everybody lit up. She just had such a fun energy. And actually, I'm skipping ahead a bit, but when we left the award show, we were like walking to the rideshare pickup to get our Uber, and she was just like outside with fans. Everybody was singing with her, like she was taking pictures, making TikToks with fans, like literally so normal. And like she's Natasha Bedingfield. I was like, it was cool, you know. She was just like out there. Everybody was singing with her. They were like taking selfies, making TikToks. It was really cute. So I think Natasha Bedingfield deserves so much more respect than she gets from all of us. You know what I mean? She's more than Unwritten. She's more than Pocket Full of Sunshine. Like she's a ray of sunshine herself. You know. So I don't know. I was happy to see that she came out and had her moment. I thought it was really cute. Whoever thought of that at the People's Choice Awards team, like whoever put that together, snaps to you. That was genius and such a moment. So you are very good at your job. Moving on through the night, Lenny Kravitz was awarded the Icon Music Award, and Victoria Monet, who you guys know that I love, she came out and my God, did she look so good? She's just so stunning. Her outfit was so cool. Her hair just, oh my God, I love her. So she came out to present the award to him, and you can tell how excited she was and honored to be giving him this award. She had announced his performance. He did the performance, which was, I mean, it's Lenny Kravitz. Like, a living legend, an icon. He did such a good performance. His energy was so great. Like it was just cool to see him. And you know, I'll admit, like I'm not a Lenny Kravitz fan. I would never seek out going to one of his shows. So this is the only situation that I really would see him in. You know, like I wouldn't go out of my way, which I just not. I don't know. Don't. If there's any Lenny Kravitz stands listening, don't come for me. I apologize. I can appreciate that he's an icon, but just not my cup of tea. You know, I don't. Whatever, but I had a blast during his performance. It was just his energy is great. He was so good, and it was just I don't know, just so much fun. And then she presented him the award after, and she was on stage while he was giving his speech, and just like you could see in her eyes, like she was so into his speech, and just was like while the crowd was cheering, she was cheering with him. It was just cute. You could tell she was really appreciative to be part of that. So I loved that moment. And then my favorite moment of the night had to be America Ferrera getting the People's Choice for Movie Moment. So obviously we all know and love her Barbie monologue. It was such a moment. It really was like such a huge part of the movie. It was like the turning point, you know what I mean, in the movie. So I'm not surprised that she won, and I'm so glad that she did. This is where Billie presented to her. So what I was referring to earlier with the Billie Eilish moment that she had. So she presented it to her, which just makes sense because obviously she has the song in the movie. So it was just like a cute moment, obviously orchestrated that Billie presented it to her, so it'd be like a cute, you know, bridge the gap kind of moment. But that being said, her speech was just so you could tell how appreciated she was. Like she was so just honored to have been there to get the award. She's another one who I feel like doesn't get as much like respect as she deserves. I mean, Gotta Kick It Up, Ugly Betty. Like she has been in so many just like major things in her life, and like she's she kind of like falls into the back, and it might be intentional. Like she might want to be that kind of actress who just like gets her bag every few years. That's what she has to do, and then like disappears. But like I mean, Ugly Betty is one of the best shows I've ever watched. It is one of my absolute favorites. If you've never seen it, add it to your list. It's just so good. It's like the perfect mix of like cheesy, sentimental. There's like you just love the characters, and I mean, she's the star of the show, and it ran for a decent amount of seasons. So I was just excited to see her get awarded, get the flowers, and her speech was just so cute. She was so you could tell she was so happy to be a part of the Barbie movie, and I almost wonder if she didn't think that her monologue would resonate the way that it did with people, because you could really tell that she was so appreciative that like that stuck with people, and the way that like Barbie was such a phenomenon with everyone, she was so just happy and excited and appreciative. And I think America Ferrera deserves like I think she needs her big movie moment, like her big starring role. Like I don't know. She's America Ferrera. I feel like she deserves a little more chops than she gets. But that was my favorite moment of the whole night. It was so pure, so cute, and I loved it. It was 10 out of 10 from her. And then the last moment of the night of the show, we'll go into the after party in a second, but was, I mean, Kylie Minogue. Come on, like gay pop icon. As soon as I saw that she was going to be performing, I texted Julie and I was like, "Oh my fucking god, Kylie Minogue's performing, like the gays are gonna go crazy," and that they did. There was obviously a decent amount of gay men in the audience because the vocal fry that you could hear in the audience when Kylie Minogue was performing, me included, it was we were literally in Hell's Kitchen. It was we somehow transported out of Santa Monica into Hell's Kitchen, and I was like, this is everything. I mean, it's Kylie Minogue. She's literally an icon. It was so just exciting to see her live. I've never seen her, so I was excited to see her, and yeah, it was just a fabulous night. Really, just like a really well done event. It was really fun. You could tell like everybody was just enjoying their time there. It was a fabulous event. So much fun. Thank you again so much to the People's Choice Awards for having me. Thank you to FanMade for inviting me. I had so much fun going, so much fun creating content and just, all the things. So if you didn't get to see, I did post a vlog of my trip there, and I did a little get ready with me. They are on my personal TikTok, so that's at Andrew Nucatola, and then they're also on the Two Pop to Handle Instagram, so just at Two Pop to Handle. So go give me some love, check it out. No big deal. But the night did not end there. We ended up getting invited to the after party, and it was just exactly what you would think of a People's Choice Awards after party. It was fabulous. It was so much fun. It was on a rooftop, not too far from the venue, so it was a quick ride, and it was so much fun. We had a fabulous time. I was bumping shoulders with my Selling Sunset girls. I got to chit chat with them. Let me just say, Brie is exactly what you would imagine her to be. She is so stunning in person. Brie from Selling Sunset, if that wasn't clear, but she just like she knows she's that bitch. She knows she just you her like her confidence, and I say this with a nice way, but like her arrogance is so clear in person as well. But like she should be, you know what I mean? And I was chatting with her. We ended up riding the elevator down together, and I was like, I just need to say like. I know on the show everyone thinks that you're a bitch, but like you should be. Like you deserve to be a bitch. And everything you say, I'm like snapping along and clapping with you. And she was like, oh my God. She was like, you are my people. I love you. Like we were like chatting in the elevator. She was super, super sweet. I chatted with Chelsea a bit, Chriselle, which you guys know I love Chriselle. Everybody was seriously so nice. It was just like a fabulous night all around. There was tons of housewives from New Jersey there. Hannah Mojo was there, and she was so sweet. I was with Julie and her client Markel, and they're obviously friends with her. They know her. So I was just kind of there like, hey, like just kind of like hanging out with them. But as soon as like Julie introduced me to Tana, she was literally like so kind. She was so nice. And I don't know, you never know what you're going to get when you meet people, especially like at events like that. You just never know what to expect. And I just was I don't know. She was very, very nice. So that was fun. I hate to break it to you. Alex Earl isn't pretty because of that fucking ring light she uses. She is just stunning in person. She walked by and I was like, it's not a fucking filter. She is perfect, like literally perfect in person. I was like, God fucking damn it. It was just such a fabulous night, so much fun. And I'm just so grateful that I got to go. And that was my trip. It was seriously so much fun. I had a great time. Happy to be back. Happy to be back. Well, I'm not happy to be back, going back to work, but I digress. But we are back. We are back in action. And yeah, thank you guys for coming along with me. And we have a lot of pop culture things to jump into, some music, some TV, some Taylor Swift, Bridgit Mendler, just like lots of range today. So I think without any more holdups, let's hop right into our releases for the week. So as it goes, we're going to talk about last week's releases, what I'm thinking, and then I'll give you guys some updates on what's coming out this week, and we'll go on from there. So first and foremost, my girl, my queen, Dua Lipa training season came out. We had already heard part of it or most of it on the Grammys. It's been teasing for a while. And one thing about Dua Lipa is she's going to release a smash. She's going to release like a perfect pop song. It's going to be fun. It's going to have the perfect beat. It's going to have the right hook. She just hits every mark. So excited for this era. I think it is shaping up to be just another great album from her. And again, like her debut was fantastic. Her Future Nostalgia was so good. Like she doesn't know how to write a bad song. Like Dua Lipa cannot write a bad song. I don't know what to tell you. If you think otherwise, I'm sorry, you're wrong. Everything she does is so good. And yeah, fucking loved it. Next up, we have Vincent. He released his new single Good to Me off of his upcoming album, and I absolutely loved it. He just always has such a good vibe and energy with his music. Like, even when he releases like a sad breakup song, it's still like he's good about like having a good vibe to it and like a good energy. And he just like has the perfect like the pop he has the pop sound down. You know what I'm saying? Like he has, if you listen to him or listen to any of his music, like he just, it's like feel good, like fun pop music. And we love a queer person in pop music. We love a person of color representation in pop music. But we just, he checks all the boxes of like things that need to be more kind of pushed and, you know, unfortunately aren't the like norm in a lot of creative spaces. And I just love it. I love his music. I love his vibe. Smash release from him. Very excited for his album to come out. I don't believe there's a release date yet. I think it was just the lead single, then the album's to come later this year, but I will be tuned in. You guys, if you're listening, you will be tuned in because I will be talking about it. So stay tuned for that. But definitely go check it out. Go stream it. His last album was really, really good too. Yeah. And you guys know all these songs are always all the songs that I like. Let me preface that because we're about to go into some songs that I did not like. So these are not on my Drew releases playlist, but any song that I talk goodly, am I like, is that English? Any song that I talk highly about is always on my Drew releases playlist, which is linked in my Instagram bio, Spotify, Apple Music. You can go find it there. And now we're going to take a little bit of a turn. So I genuinely try to always give an artist the benefit of the doubt and listen to the song and think of it, even if it's like not groundbreaking or, you know, I'm like, it's their art. Who am I to critique their art? But sometimes it's just not good. And it pains me to say this, but what the fuck is this Ariana Grande and Mariah Carey Yes and remix? It sounds like they typed in Mariah Carey AI into like an AI generator and just like pulled sound bites of whatever the generator gave to them and put it on top of Ariana Grande's vocals. I got halfway through the song and I deleted it from my library. I didn't even finish it. I was like, what is this bullshit? Like, we've waited so long for Ariana Grande and Mariah Carey to do a collab. They have their Christmas song, they just performed together in December. Like, they've done things together, but not like, it's never, I don't count a Christmas song as like a collab. It is, but isn't. You know what I mean? Like, it's a Christmas song. It wasn't like for an album, for like a body of work. It was just like a one-off song kind of thing. And when I saw this was a remix, I was obviously excited, but I was like, I would have preferred it to be an original song. And then when I listened to it, I was like, this was such a waste. Such a waste of a feature. They should have just had Ariana and Mariah do a original song together, say that the money that they paid Mariah to get on this and just done something new because it was so lackluster, wasn't good. It just seemed like it was like another push for more sales. It's a no from me, an absolute mess for me, if you will. And continuing on, this one, it wasn't. It's not that this is bad. The music is good, but Kim Petras Slut Pop Miami. I enjoyed listening to it. I liked it. It's a fun sound. I just don't understand how this girl can write another album about having sex and like giving blowjobs and like I'm like, girl, how many times? Like, I mean, it's only the second time, but like two full albums about like giving head, and I'm like, what, like I don't know. I'm like, part of me's impressed. I'm like, damn, she must know how to work herself. Like, god damn. But I'm like, another full album about it. I think I would have liked it more as like an EP, and then if she released like another album or something, it just like I'm a big fan of Kim, and I have been since like Heart to Break, like literally from like her first single. Like I've been a fan for a while, and I've always supported her projects. This just felt like it was like you just released Feed the Beast last year, and you just toured it. So like to release this already, I'm like, was it a rushed project? Like what? I don't understand where this fit. And again, it's not bad. It just seems like it's Feed the Beast came out in October. It's February. Like 5 months later, you're releasing this full album of a concept that you did a few years ago. It just seemed weird to me. And I know the gays are living for it because like it's about like getting railed and whatever, but I'm just like again, it's not bad. Like it's fun music, but I'm just like I will like it's not going to be in my rotation. That's what I'll say. Like I'm not adding any of these songs to any of my playlists, any of my I'm just not. I don't know. I- maybe I don't know what I don't get about it. I just like to me I'm just like okay, like again, and it's not bad. It's just like I won't be revisiting this again. I listened to it once. I think I listened to it two times to just like be like maybe I just didn't understand the crazy hype. I didn't really look into what people were saying about it because I had such a busy weekend like coming up. I was like I didn't have time to search because I know the Twitter gays are living for it because like Kim can drop a 30-second track of her just like saying like slut over and over and they buy it, which I get it because I have artists that I'm like that with that too, but it just like didn't hit the mark for me. I don't know. I'm not going to waste any more time talking about it. But yeah, those are the releases from last week. And then we do have some upcoming ones. We have Selena Gomez releasing her new single Love On. And I'm curious because obviously she's with Benny Blanco now. I don't love the relationship. I think it's a weird pairing, and I don't really get like why. Like, I hate to be like someone about talk about looks, but like, you're Selena Gomez. And also, like, I thought she was going on a social media break, and now she's releasing music. Like, I need to, I want to be a fly in the wall on Selena Gomez's team's meetings and like how they come up with these ideas to do certain things and like why they do it when they do. Just like her whole strategy on things always feels very weird to me. It works, obviously. I mean, she sells and like I mean, not music, but like she sells her makeup and things like that. But I'm just like, I don't know. I liked Single Soon. I thought it was fun. Like I thought it was did it change my life? No, but like it was a fun beat. It was like a fun enough message. She obviously wasn't single when she released it, so that kind of dilutes it, but like as like a song, it was fine. I did like it and I do listen to it here and there. Like I like the music video. Thomas and I will put it on and my gym plays it, so like it'll come on there and I will pause my music to be like, okay, let me listen to this while it's on. But curious to see how this sounds. I am excited for it. We'll talk about it more next week. We also have a new release from Flyana Boss. Yeah, it's called. It's yeaaa. You guys, I've talked about them before when they released Candyman a few weeks ago. They just have a fun sound. I just like their sound. I'm not listening to it because it's going to be like life changing lyrics. It's just like fun music. So I'm excited for a new release from them. And then Monet Exchange, who you guys I talked about a few weeks ago, you guys know I saw her do the comedy special. She's releasing music this Friday. So she's releasing Body, it's called. She's put out music before. She released a single in like 2021. It was called like Love Like This, I think it was called. And it was just like kind of like a fun summertime like beachy vibe. And I really liked it. It was fun. Again, nothing crazy. I don't listen to it that often, but like if it comes on shuffle, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about the song like that. So I'm excited to see what she has in store for us. So you guys know, obviously, we will talk about them all next week, and we will give a full rundown of what I'm thinking. But yeah, those are our releases from last week, from this week. Again, just it's going to be a big year for music. I keep saying it. I'm so excited. And we have some more actual music news in the stories this week. So we'll get into it. But now we're just going to hop into some more general pop culture news. So unfortunately, we are starting on a sad note but last time we talked, this hadn't happened, but there was the Super Bowl parade in Kansas City last week, and unfortunately, it did end with a shooting. Now, I mean, it shouldn't be the case that we're like, okay, another shooting, like, surprise. Like, it's not even getting old, it is old. Like, how many times does there have to be a shooting and people hurt, people killed? I don't care if it's one person killed, no people hurt. Regardless, how many times does this have to happen before something happens? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, it's so old and like, I just, there's, I could do a whole like episode 3 hours long just ranting about like why are these gun laws so loose and why is it so easy for for certain people, excuse me, in places to buy these literally deadly weapons. It makes me sick. As soon as I saw the news, I literally was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like it's just like people were there celebrating their team's big win. This Super Bowl was a huge game. It was huge for people, like for everyone, really. Like I said last week, it was such a moment for people to watch this, whether it was because of Taylor, whether it was like Chief fans, like no matter what it was, like this was a huge game, and for the parade to happen and like them to all be celebrating it and for it to end like that, it's just like come on. It breaks my heart. I am sad to report that a local radio host there was only one person who was killed, and it was this local radio host. She is on one of their local stations. She's also a mother. Just like so heartbreaking. Like she's probably been reporting on the Chiefs all season long, whether it's about the Chiefs, Travis Kelsey, Patrick Mahomes, Taylor Swift, and Travis. Like I'm sure she's been reporting about it all season, and then she's there to celebrate it, and now she doesn't even get to continue to like do what she loves, and it really is so heartbreaking. Travis and Taylor did end up donating $100,000 each. I believe it was to two different or like GoFundMe's. One, I believe Taylor donated to the family of the radio host who passed away, and then Travis donated to a GoFundMe for two people who were hurt in the act. So like there were a handful of people who were hurt due to the shooting. Only one person had like a tragic ending, unfortunately. But so yeah, they did donate, which was, it is. I didn't I'm not surprised that they did. Like they're not bad people, and like Taylor especially, like she's been helping fans financially when she can, like for years. She's like paid off people's student loans and sent them money for, helping like help bills and things like that. So I'm just glad that they're kind of staying true to who they are. And I mean, Travis, obviously, he's like the name on everyone's lips. And I'm sure the NFL, I'm sure the other players are going to do more to kind of, you know, honor them and help them. But just so sad. And I hate to even like bring a sad news on, but I feel like if I come on here and I'm like, everything's great and happy and chipper and oh my God, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, like it's just like not authentic because it's sad, you know what I mean? So there's always going to be some sad things that come and go, but with sad things, we can always find like something positive to talk about. So Taylor and Travis donating was definitely like some type of silver lining, if you could even say that. Like I hate to even bring it to that and be like, well, at least they donated. Like it's literally the least that they could do. So I'm just happy that they did. But just sending my love to Kansas City, anybody who was affected, anybody who was there and had to like witness that. I can't even imagine just like the traumatic damage that would do to somebody. So sending my love to anybody in Kansas City. And I'm so sorry to hear about all of the chaos and that has ensued. But some other Taylor news: Eras Tour was back this week. She is back and she is in Australia, and there has been some some things to talk about. So, first and foremost, there is a second edition of the Tortured Poets Department coming out. It is called The Bolter, and there's layers to it. So, she obviously announced an album at the Grammys, and it was called The Manuscript. Now, there's a new edition of it with a new bonus track called The Bolter, and there's layers to that name. So, first and foremost, we all know Joe Alwyn did not like to be seen on camera, and like the most famous video of them that we've ever seen is, I think it was after the VMAs, of them like it was like a 5, maybe like a 10-foot walk from the bar they were at to the door, and he literally like is pulling her arm out of the socket, running to the door to get her into the car because he didn't want to be seen with paparazzi. And so like the bolter running. Then people started finding out there was also a bar in London called the Bolter. And if you tie back, dive bar on the east side, Delicate, where they kind of met and started like doing, not met, I'm sorry, but doing like, it's obviously like a big moment. There's a bar downtown, and it is just like, must be either like maybe a first date or something significant there. So for her to have that tie in there, and fans go to this bar all the time, like it's a very well known Swiftie thing in the community. Now that there's like another bar name tied in somehow, I'm very curious to see how that kind of like, how that bridges and what the vibe's gonna be. We know that this album is not gonna be poppy and fun and like rainbows and butterflies. Like it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be like a oof, like it's gonna hit us in the gut. So I'm very curious to see how, this bonus track specifically, how it kind of plays in and what it tells us. And then another theory that everyone's saying is like kind of like the Bolter versus the Archer obviously being on Lover, which isn't necessarily about Joe. It's more of like a self-reflective song. But so then it kind of raises the question, like, is the Bolter going to be like a response to the Archer, and like how I don't know, like there's so many different layers and ways that she can go, and I think that's what's so fun about being a Taylor Swift fan. Like there's so many ways that you can kind of spin different theories until they're either the song is released or something's proven, or like she might not even it might not even be able to be proved by the time it comes out. Like we might have to just like wonder, but I think that's what's like the fun of it, A new Taylor Swift album always just means like she's gonna do something crazy. So I'm excited to see what this new edition brings and what this bonus track has for us. And then, as well as with the Era Tour being back, these surprise songs lately, the girl's getting a little crazy. Like, she is, in fact, fucked in the head. To do a mashup of Getaway Car, August, and The Other Side of the Door, like, hello? So, like, clearly, like, tying those three songs together and just, like, kind of trying to take the message of each. And when you dissect each song, you're like, this bitch, like, like, what are you alluding to, Taylor? And then she also sang, You're losing me for the first time. Like, she was something in Australia, something was in the air. She was like, I'm down under and I'm gonna bring everybody down with me, bitch. Like, she was trying to make us like, she was trying to make us think and make us be a little emotional last week. I was like, what is going on with these surprise songs? But that mashup, that was out of pocket, especially because, like, August is already on the set list. So for her to go out of her way, this is the first time she's sung a song in the surprise songs that's already on the set list. So for her, and I mean, it was just like a line or two. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you go to the Eras tour and the surprise songs come on and she sings a song that's in the set? The fucking rage I would have. Obviously, that wouldn't happen. She just kind of tied this in. But then it makes you think, like, what are the parallels between Getaway Car and August? The Other Side of the Door is obviously kind of just like, it's an older song. They don't have any relation that I could piece together. I mean, she was like 16 when that came out, younger, 15. And now, but like Getaway Car in August, those are like overlapping eras to a point. You know what I mean? Like she was with the same guy. She was like, so I'm curious, like, if she was trying to like tell us something about the messages there, or like, I don't know. I have this theory that like folklore and Evermore aren't 100% fictional. And I think we've talked about it before on the podcast on a previous episode, but I have this theory that like they aren't 100% fictional and there's some truth behind them. And she didn't want to air out her dirty laundry. So she told everyone it was a made up like fairy tale thing in her head. But now that she's mashing up folklore songs with like actual like real life Taylor personal songs, I'm like, the apple's not falling far from the tree, Miss Swift, now, is it? So very interesting there. I don't know. She continues to keep us on our toes. She continues to just like keep us wondering and wanting more. And I mean, that's why she's the most famous celebrity in the world right now. You know what I mean? Like, she's smart. She's a genius. Like, before anything, no, before anything, she's fucking crazy. And then she's a genius. You know what I mean? Like, you're not that smart without being a little psychotic. And I admire, like, come on, I admire that. Good for you, girl. Keep up with the psychoness. But obviously, Eras Tour is going to continue to go on, so we'll see what else she has in store for surprise songs. I'm sure as the album comes out, we're what, like, actually 2 months today, 2 months yesterday, the album's coming out. So we are getting closer and closer. So will there be more additions? Will there be, other surprises? Who knows? You'll never know what's going on with this bitch until it happens, because she is just like, for a lack of better words, a mastermind. So excited to see what she has in store. And then kind of shifting gears away from one pop icon to another, Bridgit Mendler. This news was just so interesting to me. And like, if you're chronically online like me, like the lore behind Bridgit Mendler and how like we are all begging for new pop music because like Hurricane and Ready or Not are just like two like such like fantastic pop songs that she released and then just like was gone. Like, just so bizarre. So if you don't know who Bridgit Mendler is, she was on Good Luck Charlie, and then while she was on Disney Channel, she released some music, and the music's like genuinely very good. And she kind of did that, and then just like disappeared, was gone. And she's always kind of like popped in and out. I'm pretty sure she went to like Harvard to get her master's. Like, she's very smart. Like, on top of being like a celebrity actress and whatever, like, she's a genius. So she posted a few months ago and she said that there was like something coming, something was happening. And everyone was like, is she releasing music? Like, what's happening? Weren't you just in college? It was like a weird message. Well, yesterday, Monday, it was announced that she is officially a CEO and she's launching a startup called Northwood Space, and it aims to create satellite ground stations that are designed with mass production and customer flexibility first in mind. And I will be completely honest, I have no idea what the fuck that means, but what can't she do? You know what I'm saying? Like, she's kind of just like giving us like a stacked resume. She's like, yeah, I starred in a Disney Channel show. Yeah, I released bangers. Yeah, I can also go get my master's at Harvard. And yeah, I can be a CEO of a concept of a business that you can't even understand. Like, how you gonna hate from outside the club you can't even get in kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying? And then so she announces that. And then like 2 hours later, she casually drops that she's adopted. She was fostering a child in 2021. And by 2022, she adopted this little boy, this 4-year-old. So she's also a mother. Like, she is just like, I'm like, girl, what can't you do? It's very impressive. I'm like, she really is just like, she's just like throwing things on this resume and just like, yeah, and I'll do this and I'll do that. And it's not like she's someone who's like in the spotlight, you know, she like very much is behind the scenes, isn't doing anything crazy like ever. You know what I mean? She's not like a normal celebrity where she's like going to red carpets, doing big projects. She very much like got her Disney Channel bag and dipped, but like, we're not letting it go, Bridget. We're not letting, you know, we're not gonna let this just like run away. Like, we want more music. We want to know what's next, but she is busy doing something in space. I can't, I don't have the mental capacity to like process what that means. If someone can like dumb it down for me, I would love that. Please shoot me a DM, leave it in the comments because I'm like, what does it mean you're creating satellite ground stations? Like, I, maybe I might sound so stupid right now, and if I do, I'll own up to it, but like, we're all confused, right? Like, I don't know what that means. I don't know. Anyway, I couldn't do this episode and not talk about that because I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, where is this coming from? But good for you. Like, she's not doing anything problematic. She's literally just like living her life. And I'm like, snaps to you, girl. Do your thing. Use your brain. Just release another song soon, please, because like Hurricane is a smash. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, moving on, our last story, and then we have some TV recap. The Met Gala, the theme was announced, and we got figured out who the co-chairs are going to be. So the co-chairs are going to be Zendaya, Bad Bunny, J-Lo, and Chris Hemsworth. Who thought of this? I'm not mad about this lineup. Like, it is I get it. They are very big, credible people. Like, I'm not questioning them and their ability or talent. Like, I have literally have nothing negative to say about any of these people, but I'm just like, did they just like put 50 celebrities on a dartboard and just started throwing and like the first four that it landed on? Like, Zendaya, Bad Bunny, J-Lo, and Chris Hemsworth have probably never been in the same room together. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is a very weird mix of people, but like, sure, like, well, go ahead, let's do it. The theme is going to be Garden of Time, and I just appreciate the fact that like it's a theme that we can all, they say it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know what that's going to be. It's going to be spring, florals, like gardeny, like it's going to be, I say gardeny, like they're going to be wearing like gloves and like carrying like a garden hose around or something. But like, you know, Garden of Time is going to be something floral, very spring, like florals for spring, groundbreaking. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can say the theme and I'm like, oh, okay, I can picture this. Sometimes they say the theme and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? You know, like sometimes the Met Gala themes, like it's like Bridgit Mendler opening a I literally have to look at my notes because I forget what it is already. It's like Bridgit Mendler opening a satellite ground station. I'm like, what does that mean? And like, it's the Met Gala. It's fashion. It shouldn't be anything that hard to digest. But somehow, some years, I'm just like, what the hell? And honestly, a lot of the guests don't even know what the thing is because nobody ever shows up on theme. So I'm hoping now that they've dumbed it down for everyone, hopefully everybody shows up and can do something a little more, a little more like, you know, well-rounded and on theme. But Met Gala, obviously, always a very exciting day, especially in New York. It's cool. I mean, I'm not going to say where I live, but I don't live too far from the Met. Like, I live like on the same side of the city. And it's just like I've never gone close to it, but there's like a feeling in the air. Maybe I just make that up in my head because I know it's the Met Gala, but I'm always like, oh my God, it's happening only like X amount of minutes away from me. Like, it's just cool. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I just like geek out about it, but the Met Gala is always so exciting, and I always love to sit in my sweatpants on the couch and critique people's fashion that I'll never be able to wear the things that they're wearing, you know what I'm saying? So I'm very excited for that. It's May 5th or 6th, something like that. Also very curious if Taylor and Travis will be there because there's no Kardashian on the board. like on in the chairs. She technically could make it. She has a show in Paris that week, but she doesn't have a show that day. Travis, I can't imagine he's rehearsing for anything. Like it would be cool. I would love to see if the two of them would show up. Like that would be major, major. Also, to tie in, and again, I'm going back to Taylor because it's just everything revolves around her. Obviously, she is the whole like the lore about her doing going to the Met Gala with Florence in 2016, and that night is a night where like her and Joe were first spotted together. Like it would make sense if she released the album that's about obviously like her breakup and then goes to the Met Gala with her new boyfriend a few weeks later. I feel like that would be kind of cunt. Like I kind of hope she does. You know what I'm saying? So like we'll see. I'm excited. I'm very excited for the Met Gala this year. And that is our last pop culture story for the week. But we're not done yet. We still have a few more segments. You guys know the drill. We got some TV to talk about. So first and foremost, Drag Race this week. Now, if you listened to last week's episode, I kept saying I was like I just was not floored by the episode last week, and I hope that this week does it for me, and boy, did it deliver. It was a Rusical episode, which if you don't know, that is when they perform a musical on the episode, and it's like a turning point of the season for people. Like I was saying a few episodes ago rather, when they did the ball. It's like the ball, the Rusical, Snatch Game are three big episodes of the season to really show who's like rising to the top and who's falling behind. This Rusical was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Oh my God. It was so good. I genuinely, the whole episode, I was like, my jaw was on the ground. It was so well done. So they do the sound of Rusic, obviously, oh, sound of music play. And it was, I, no notes, not a single note. It was perfect from start to finish. The whole episode was so good. They obviously, I mean, Plasma being the theater kid that she is, like she obviously was going to eat every single crumb of this episode, and she in fact did. She knocked it out of the park, knocked it out of the park. It was like, I don't know much about baseball, but I know that a home run is good. And I know that Plasma, if she was playing baseball, she would have hit a home run because she did such a good job. Uh, I loved it. This episode was fantastic. I think, and they ended up being the top three, but Plasma, Saphira, and Q really did, like, they were the standouts for me. They were so great. They did such a good job. And on the runway, the three of them were also my favorites. But then, of course, Nymphia. I swear she's not, I'm not just playing favorites. Like, she just is so good. Oh my God. But the four of them really just like knocked it out of the park on this runway. The runway theme this week was I Can Buy Myself Flowers, which obviously is a nod to Miley Cyrus. And I was like, Miley is such a big fan of Drag Race. I just know she was geeking out when she found out that they were doing a runway theme for her. Not for her, but based around her. You know what I mean? And I will say, literally, everybody did so good. Not only in the Rusical, but on the runway. Were there people who like looked better than others? Yes, but nobody looked bad. And that's what made it so hard. So when I was rewatching like everyone and I was looking, I was like, this was a week where literally everybody did such a great job. So it really came down to the nitty gritty details of like the tiniest thing. If you breathed the wrong way during the Rusical, if you had literally one of the critiques for Morphine was that like she didn't have a finished hem on one of her sleeves. Like it is down to every single thread count and every single step that you make on that stage because everybody did such a great job. And that's what like I love episodes like that, but it makes it so hard because you can slip up the slightest bit and it's you're done. Like it just, like it's just not that's it. You know what I'm saying? So just such a good episode all around. I absolutely loved it. And then it only makes sense that they lip sync to Flowers by Miley Cyrus, which Flowers being a lip sync song might be a bigger deal to Miley than winning the Grammy. Like it's very back and forth. She might have been more excited about it being a lip sync song, to be honest. I just know she was geeked that she had a runway and a lip sync song for her. And I mean, Flowers, we all know it is not like a crazy, you're not doing flips and tricks or anything to it. But when Maya's performing, the bitch is gonna find a way to do flips and tricks to any song that matters. So the bottom two ends up being Maya versus Megami. And I mean, Maya is such a performer. Like she is going to flip and twirl and spin and kick and belly slide down the runway. Like she just pulls out all the stops, and she deserved to win. I will say, like, she absolutely devoured this lip sync, and that means Megami did end up going home. Not gonna lie, I'm not that upset about it. She's not bad at what she does at all, but I think, like I said, this is the part of the season where like the cream's gonna rise. Like the people who are good, you can't just be good, you have to be great. And I think it comes down to the absolute wire and like the tiniest thing. Like you could misstep for half a second on the runway, or like miss one word in your Rusical lip sync, and that could be the competition for you. So we did say goodbye to Megami. Maya devoured her lip sync. And oh my god, I didn't even say who won. Plasma ended up winning the episode. I was just alluding to it earlier, saying she literally ate and left no crumbs. But Plasma did end up winning, so well deserved. And it was just such a good episode. It was so good. Like, they did such a fantastic job. The producers must have listened to last week's episode and been like, oh my god, Andrew didn't like the episode. We're gonna turn it this week, because they turned it. It was such a good episode. I loved it. So, so good. Moving on to the Traitors. So I realized I didn't recap it last week. I didn't miss too much. Like, it was what it was. But this week's episode was so good. It was so intense. So we start the episode and we do find out that Burgalicious had been sent home, which they had a limited amount of people they could pick from because of the way that they did like the safety in 2 episodes ago. So not like, out of the people, it was going to be either him or Trishelle, I figured. So I would have preferred it to be Trishelle, but I would have been a little too obvious if she went home. So I think picking Bergie, it made sense. I'm surprised that Phaedra was like okay with it, but I think at this point in the game, she's like, we have to get people out of the house so they are, or the castle, so they're not, we just have to keep this party going. If you remember a few episodes ago, she was like, I don't want to vote out Bergie, I don't want to vote him out, because they had a good relationship. Like, they were very close. So they did have to say goodbye to him. Can't say I'm surprised. Like, it did make sense. Then we find out that these people are going into like a Fear Factor level competition, challenge, whatever you want to call it. When I saw them dumping maggots and cockroaches on them in this cabin, I was like, nope, nope, you could not pay me enough money to do this. When like they were crawling through the pipes and trying to find like the gold and all the shields and stuff, and they're getting like soaked with water, throwing bugs on them, like in the dark. Nope. Absolutely not. It was literally like Fear Factor. It was so gross. If you didn't watch, half of the team had to go underneath this like cabin in the woods and climb through these like pipe systems to find gold that equated to money at the end of, like, if you got the gold, you made that amount of money in the winnings of overall. And then half the people had to stay in the house and help, like they would put the lights on in the tunnels for you. So if the lights were on in the tunnel, they were off in the house, and vice versa. But in the cabin, they were also dumping bugs on them. They were all done. They were like, nope, they all left. I don't blame them. And as much as that sucks, and it's like Kevin had to kind of fend for himself, I don't blame them. That shit was nasty. There's no fucking amount of money in the world that could make me sit there while you're pouring maggots on me and be like, yep, this is fine. I'm doing, no, nope, absolutely not. So honestly did not expect them to get so gross with a challenge on this show, but like, I guess there's no, like, all bets are off. They can do whatever they want, and that's just, I guess that's the name of the show, because that came out of nowhere. I was not expecting that. Fucking disgusting. But the real, like, that was crazy. But then what's really crazy was that round table. So we see the whole episode. Trishelle is going around trying to get like a hate train against Phaedra, and she is suspicious of her being a traitor because Dan nominated her to be voted out at the round table. When they found out that Dan was a traitor, she picked up, which is smart because she is a traitor, that Phaedra is a traitor. She picked up that Dan probably wanted to put a target on somebody else's back. Very smart. Like, her thought process was there. And the fact that she was able to convince so many people to believe her, I was like, she is smart. She's playing this game very well. As annoying as she is, and as much as I don't like her on the show, she's playing a very good game. So she's going around and like has this target on Phaedra's back. And then Kevin starts to also get onto Phaedra. She's saying that she has that eye twitch, and anytime something comes up, her eye starts to twitch and she shows like no emotion about people going home, and like she just is like obvious that she's a traitor. These traitors need to like buckle up and be like better about hiding who they are, because they are all onto them and they know what is happening clearly. Because then Parvati goes home, they vote her out, which she was the most obvious traitor. Like, it made sense that she would be the next one to go. But that round table was intense. They were all like, the way they were going back and forth, I was like, oh my God, me and Thomas were sitting there like literally like gripping the couch with stress, because we were like, holy fuck. And the fact that Peter turned on everyone else and said that he was on Parvati's team, I think I think they're going to vote Peter out next week, because now it's showing that he had an alliance with a traitor, and I don't think they're going to believe that he's a faithful anymore. I think next episode this week, I think Peter's done, because the fact that he was so against Parvati, then he went ride or die with her out of nowhere, like flipped the script literally within like a day or two, and then it turns out that Parvati was a traitor. I think he's done. I think he is out next episode, and I am so excited to see what happens. We also see that Phaedra requests that Kate join her as a traitor. Now, if Kate doesn't accept this invite, she gets murdered. So she either becomes a traitor or she gets murdered. And she said at the beginning of the episode, she was like, I will do anything. I will throw these bitches under the bus. I do not care. She wants to win. So I'm sure she's going to take the traitor status and like convert over with Phaedra. But I was very surprised that Phaedra picked her out of anybody else in the house. I don't know why she picked her. It kind of was a little bit of surprise to me, but like, it's not my game to play. Pick who you want. I don't think Kate is going to turn this invitation down. I think she's going to be a traitor next episode, but we won't know until next week, obviously, when we watch. So I'm very excited. I can't stress it enough. Please watch this show. It is so good. Like, I don't think anybody could dislike it. It is so well done, and just like, these people are so good at what they do. It is a perfect cast. Perfect cast. It's so well done. I'm obsessed. I am so into this show. I just love it. And that brings us to the end of our show. But you guys know we end every show with my yes and my mess. So if you're new here, my yes is something I'm loving from this past week, and my mess is something I am not loving. So we always start on a high note, and I am bursting at the seams because Sabrina Breyer is going to be on Abbott Elementary this week. And if you don't know who she is, I'm sure you have seen her on TikTok or Instagram. She's the girl who does she does like the improv skits on TikTok, who's like she plays like the annoying friend. She's a really pretty blonde girl. There's that meme of her that goes around, and she's like counting her fingers, and she's like, oh, like, you definitely know her. If you are listening to this and you haven't gone to our Instagram today yet, look at the carousel for today's episode. I'll put a photo of her, so you know who she is. But she's going to be on Abbott Elementary this week, which you guys know. I love Abbott. And this season so far is really, really good. I don't recap Abbott every week because it's a sitcom. Like, it's not a reality show. So I feel like it's not like I can really like, I don't know. If there's something that I think needs to be talked about on the show, I will, but it's such like a feel good, easy, lighthearted watch. That's why I don't recap it every week, but I do watch it every week. And I do live tweet sometimes. So if you're not following me on Twitter, make sure you're following me, because I do post my opinions there. But I just am like, it's not a show that I think needs to be recapped every week. And if there is something to recap, we will recap it. I'm sure I'll talk about Sabrina on it next week, but she's going to be on Abbott. I'm thinking she's going to be like a substitute teacher or something. I'm so excited to see somebody who just started posting comedy skits on TikTok now be on Abbott. If it was any other show, I'd be like, what? Like, what? That's crazy that they found her. But you have to think, Quinta started her comedy career by posting skits on Instagram. She started going viral in like 2013. Before going viral was like easy. It was hard to go viral back then. And she was going viral because of BuzzFeed, because she was posting on Instagram. So it's so cool to see her still like paying respect and like looking out for people who were doing the similar thing, like coming up the way that she did by just like being funny online and like posting things to like make people laugh. She's so good, I think, at like scouting talent, and she loves this show so much. She loves Abbott so much that like she would not bring somebody on this show who she knows would not bring it to a level that would just like knock it out of the park. And I'm so excited for this week. So that is my yes. I cannot wait. And I'll definitely talk about it more next week. And then my mess. Obviously, I just got off my flight today. I got off my flight home. Obviously, I had to fly to get to California. I had a layover on my way there. Fine. I got off the plane, easy flight. I had like a 2-hour layover. I ate, I hung out, I relaxed. It was fine. I got on the flight from St. Louis, so that was where my layover was, to go to LAX. And it was the whole flight, it was fine. Literally, I had no issues. We get to the gate, we pull up, and you guys know, people, the second that plane stops, people are standing up and they're rushing. I was sitting in the back of the plane. We were probably like 4 rows from the back. We were nowhere near the front. So it was going to take a little while for us to get off. The girl next to me and her boyfriend shoot out of their seat and are like, they opened the door, so can we go? Like, and like trying to get me to like move out of the aisle. I was like, first and foremost, we have at least 10 minutes before the front of the plane is like off. Where are you going? And I was like, oh, well, it's gonna be a little bit. Like, they have to get their bags and move. And she was like, okay, but the door's open. Like, we want to get off. And she was just so nasty about it. I was like, girl, where are you going? And so I was like, go ahead. So I stepped aside, I let them go, and then I sat there and I watched with a smug look on my face as they got stuck behind these people. And guess when they got off the plane? The exact same time that I did. Because where did you think you were going? Where were you getting to? Everybody on the plane had to get off before you could move. Where did you think you were rushing to? And it was 9:30 when we landed. Where were you going? It's not dinner time. You were not dressed to go to the club. Like, where are you so eager to get off of? And like, she's not the only person. I know this is a common thing. Like, I know the people listening, I know you've been in this situation where everybody gets up and is trying to rush off of the plane, and I just don't understand where everybody is in a rush to. You know what I mean? Like, where getting up and standing in the aisle of the plane is not getting you off the plane any faster. So why are you rushing to get off? Trust me, I don't want to be on that plane either. We just sat on the same flight. I don't know if you know this, but like, we were on the exact same flight. So we've been sitting in our seats the exact same time, had the exact same experience the whole time. What do you think I want to be sitting here? No. I want to be in LA too. I want to be walking around doing my thing. But like, girl, where are you in a rush to? Where is everybody always in a rush to? It just like drives me nuts. I'm like, can you just like chill for a second? We all have the same goal. We all want to get off the plane. We all want to we were just sitting in a on a piece of metal in the air for 4, 5, 6 hours. Nobody wants to be on the plane any longer than they need to be. But you got to do it. You know what I mean? It works. There's an ebb and a flow, and like there's a way that it works. You let the front clear out. When I tell you, literally she did not move, and I got off the plane exactly behind her. Literally, she did not make any progress. I was like, you dumb bitch. Hope you had. I sat my ass right back down, sat in my seat comfortable, was on my phone. They're standing in the aisle cramped. They had to like move around, let people go through, like get off their bags. I was like, I hope you feel fucking stupid. I hope you feel so dumb. I don't get it. It just made me so mad. It's like, relax. And it wouldn't have made me as mad, I don't think, if she wasn't so nasty. Like she said it to me like I was dumb. Like she looked at me like I was wrong and I was like holding her up as if everybody was off the plane and I was just sitting there on my phone, like not letting her off. We literally were not at the gate for 30 seconds. It was like, I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. It pissed me off, but it did not ruin my weekend, I will say. I really did have such a fabulous weekend, and I still am like, that was kind of crazy that I got invited to go to the People's Choice. Like, I know it's not the Grammys or anything, but like, I don't know, it's just cool. I'm still like reeling from it, you know. I'm like, I literally was like, this weekend was like bus, club, another club, another club. So I'm still like coming down from it, you know. But I'm processing it more, and I'm like, I kind of did that. Like, that's cool. You know what I mean? So that is the end of the episode. So thank you guys so much for listening. Like I said earlier, I did vlog my trip. So if you aren't following me on my personal TikTok, go over to at Andrew Nucatola on TikTok. And if you're not following us on TikTok, the podcast, what are you doing? We are at Two Pop to Handle. That is on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You name it, I am there. So make sure you're following us on socials. Follow my personals if you want. You know, I think I'm interesting. I think I post some fun content, but you know, make sure you're just tuned in because there's always more than just the episode. You know what I mean? I can't talk about everything that happens during the week, but I do post about everything that happens during the week on my story. So make sure you are following us on all social media platforms, as well as if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like, give it a subscribe, leave us a comment. If you're listening to us as a podcast at Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Podcasts, anywhere you get podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. Follow the show. Make sure you are tuned in so you never miss an episode. Leave us a rating, send it to a friend. You know the vibe. Send it around. Tell people about it. Be like, oh my God, this podcaster I listened to just went to the People's Choice Awards and he was bumping shoulders with Tana Mojo after. Like, talk it up. You know what I mean? Like, feel free to gas me up to your friends and make me seem cooler than I am. Because the more that happens to me, the more I get to like tell you guys fun things that happens to me. But seriously, thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode of Too Pop to Handle. I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next week. Bye!